Well, good morning. This should be News 120, Section 20K. We start the second of these 5-week courses. And so, yep, I'm Dr. Cuban, and so you should be in the right place, even though I'm not in the classroom at the moment. You are in the right place, and my graduate assistant, Samantha Kirby, is proctoring these videos in my absence. I'm at Penn State today, and I have a conference presentation to give at the Engagement Scholarship Consortium Conference, which is an annual event, and it just so happens to have me out of town. So I wanted things to move forward, and so today what we're going to do, even though it is the first day, you're all somehow, some way getting introduced to me, if it is One Direction. On Thursday, I will be back. That's October already. And then, we'll do some things to kind of break the ice and all that. But for now, what I want to do is I want to talk about the syllabus and the expectations, what you're doing in this class for the next 5 weeks, give or take. And then this screencast maxes out at about 15 minutes, so I'm not going to be able to do it all in one clip, but I do want to talk to you too about a very important concept that might very well be the most important thing that you get out of this 5 weeks and this information gathering course. So first and foremost, the syllabus. This is the mode that you should see when you look at Blackboard for this course, and I will tell you right now that I do a lot in Blackboard. I don't really trust Blackboard. I don't think it's very reliable, but it is what we have to work with. So the syllabus is in here, more on that in a second. But for now, just to kind of give you an idea of the lay of the land and how this is going to look, if you do need to email me, if you need to email the course, you should be able to do that when you click on the email link. And then it should direct you to indicate which users you want to select and so on and so forth. Maybe this isn't going to work after all. Oh, there it goes. Okay. And it's just really, really slow. And yeah, another reason why I don't trust Blackboard. But there it is. I do have my personal email address at the top of the course syllabus. So when I show you that, you'll be able to take note. And again, if you do have questions about the class, you should ask them sooner rather than later. This is a 5-week, 1-credit course. So it's a blitz right out of the gates, and so you need to be aware of that if you get sick, if you happen to miss class, that's fine. I mean, you're an adult, but you do need to realize that life goes on even when you're not in class. So the announcements, if there's anything major, I will post it there. I would probably also send an email to the class, much as I did when I first made the course active. So the syllabus link, there's that. Online material, those are going to be links to things that we discuss day by day, class session by class session. So you'll see it all in there. Doesn't mean we're going to all do that this week or next. This is throughout the entire duration of the class itself. You do have certain required readings and viewings that you need to take care of. And so those are listed here, and they are in chronological order as I've asked you to read them or view them in the syllabus schedule. For now, you won't see anything in course exercises because I have to update all the dates from the first 5 weeks. So for now, it's empty, and so for you, that should be a good thing. That means you don't have any work to do, at least between now and Thursday. Same thing with quizzes. There will be 2 of them. I already know this. I just haven't made them active yet. So I need to go in and do that, and at least as of Sunday night, the time of this recording, I haven't had a chance to just yet. And so the rest, I figure you can click on that and look for yourself, but that gives you an overview of how the Blackboard site looks. You will have a lot of instructions given for your assignments in Blackboard. However, I will tell you right now that I want hard copies of them for reasons I already explained. I don't trust Blackboard, and I've had too many instances where I've tried to have people submit things. Oftentimes they may wait to the last minute, and then oh shoot, it logged me out, or I got an error message, or something happened. So I think that we need to make sure that you have all of your assignments done by the time you get to class at 9:30 a.m. as a hard copy. And if it's more than 1 page, I am making, this is probably going to seem really ridiculous, but I am making a stapler a course requirement. I don't know. all I can tell you is what I think about it. It's $3 at Target. Invest in one. Your life will be better for it. And you know what? So will mine. And when my life is better, your life is better. So that might be a better way to approach that. So let me do this. Let me go into the syllabus now and we'll take a look and see what we've got going on for this class. So at the top, I mentioned that I have my contact information. There's the email address. Phone number is there, but I ask that you only call me if it's an emergency because I don't bring my phone with me to class. When I'm teaching, that's my focus, not who's messaging me, who's calling me. So if it's an emergency, go for it. But even then, you might have a better chance with email because I bring my own computer to class, and so you'll get down in the lower corner here, there'll be some email messages that'll sometimes pop up, and so that'll happen from time to time. Social options, I have my policies right there up at the top, so you can read that and see what you want to do. I do have one office hour set aside, but I do think it's in your best interest if you need to chat with me to schedule an appointment. Oftentimes, that office hour never gets used, and so I fill it with something else. So if you just contact me, if we got a chat, it's fine. I will be more than happy to meet with you, as I say overtly right there in the syllabus text. So we're in here, AJ 339, Tuesdays, Thursdays, 9:30 to 10:45. Please be on time, please be punctual. Part of your grade goes into that, and I'll explain later. I'm not going to read this line by line, page by page. You're adults. I expect you to read this, and that is one of your initial reading assignments. But I will highlight some of the main points. So on the required text and materials, you should have reporting for the media, the 10th edition from Fedler. The other 120 courses, I believe, are using this textbook as well, and that's by design. Sorry. Should look like this. So if you got this textbook, you brought it over with you from Colleen's 121 class, or I think Bremen has 122, then you're good. You're going to be using that from time to time in this class. The other thing that you need is the Associated Press style book. At this point, I do think it's worth your while to get the most recent edition. I think if you were to even buy it new, it'd be about 18, 20 bucks. And they do update it annually, so it does have a relatively short shelf life, but that's kind of the way it is. As long as they continue to publish annual editions, annual updates, we're going to want you to keep using that and be aware of what's new in that style book. And actually, that also is one of your reading assignments for Thursday, is to familiarize yourself with what's new, what's different with this iteration of the AP style book. And actually, that's where we're going to start when I get back and I'm physically present in class on Thursday. We're going to start talking about style book and citations for literary source materials. This class is about literary sources. 121 is about human sources, and then 122 is where you start to pull it all together and you do some event reporting. And then when we boost you up to the next level, so to speak, in 221, that's where you add in multimedia. So I mean, this is kind of how the curriculum progresses. So in this class, it's all about literature. That's kind of what we're after in this class. I mentioned you should have a USB drive, if only just to back up your work, because that's smart to do that. And then here's where I mentioned the stapler. I want you to get one. So, you can shrug all you want, but I think you need this because I've just had too many instances, people folding over corners and they think it's all together and it's not. So seriously, it's like $3 at Target, Walmart, whatever. Next time you're doing a run, put that on your list and get it for yourself. And so I don't know. I'm not sure how much of a stickler I'm going to be about if I'm going to deduct points or not. But for now, just notice that it's bold-faced. So what that means is I mean it. In fact, anything in here that's bold-faced, underlined, highlighted, that should be your cue that you ought to pay attention to this because it's something that I think you ought to know about. So, what are we trying to do? Within the next 5 weeks, I want us to be doing these 3 things. Mainly emphasis on number 3, evaluating the information, because finding content is not going to be a problem for you. You know how to find stuff. But what I'm going to do, as it relates to number 1 and number 2, in the outcomes there that are highlighted at the moment, I want to try to give you some search strategies, some tactics that you might not already know about, that you might not already have used. Try to make your searches a little bit more efficient, a little bit more strategic in nature. That's what we're going to be doing there. And of course, within ethical parameters. But it's the evaluation part that I think is key, because there's an abundance of shit out there. And you got to be able to sift through what might be bullshit. So the evaluation part is what we're really going to be hitting hard in here as we get further into it. Department policies, blah, blah, let you read that. University policies, don't lie, cheat, or steal. If you do have a documented disability, you should have a letter from Larry Markle at the Disability Services. Give me that so that I have that on record, and then we'll work with you as necessary. For my expectations, okay, so you do need to be here on time. You do need to be in class. It's a 5-week course, so if you miss, it is your responsibility to stay on track and to submit your work by the deadline or earlier. I will always take assignments earlier, but I probably won't accept it, or I definitely won't give you full credit if we haven't had a conversation in advance about you submitting something after the deadline. So here's my submission procedures. This is what I was talking about earlier with the hard copy business. So the assignment instructions will be posted in Blackboard. And so yes, I don't trust it, but yes, you should use it to check for that, make sure that you get what you need in order to do the assignment in the first place. However, notice, red capitalized hard copies of your work. That's what I want. It's just easier that way, and as applicable, stapled. Quizzes, the 2 quizzes I mentioned before, those would be the lone exception. You'll do those right in Blackboard and you'll get immediate feedback. You should always save your work. I probably don't even need to say that, or I shouldn't have to say that, but do save it often and in multiple locations. And then a deadline, here again, it's in red, so pay attention to this. 9:30, folks, so pay attention to this. If you're late to class, you come in at 9:45 and we have an assignment due that day and I've already collected it, not only have you lost some points for being tardy, but you also then have lost points for submitting a late assignment. So that's going to hurt if that happens repetitively, especially when you only have 5 weeks. So here's what I do in the event that you've missed a deadline. First time, you get up to 6 hours. So after it would be due, and all of your assignments are going to be due at 9:30 a.m. when we start class, you have 6 hours later to get it to me. And at that point, an email attachment is fine, just so that I have a timestamp and that you get it to me within that 6 hours. That is arbitrary. So what? That's my policy. But at that point, I'm going to drop you down to 70% of the total possible points for that assignment. So it's not a get out of jail free card. There is a cost to it, but 70% is a hell of a lot better than a 0. However, if you still make mistakes in that assignment, it may drop even further down into the 60s or even the 50s. But again, it's better than a 0. Now, you don't get it to me within that 6 hours, goes down to a 0, or at least I reserve my right to drop you down to a 0 there. Now, if you have more than one instance of late work, there again, I reserve the right to just drop you to a 0. I mean, you have to stay on top of the work in this class. That has been what's happened in the past when students have failed this class. It's not so much that they don't get the content, it's because they're not staying on top of their shit. You gotta get your stuff done. Simple as that. So, when we come down here, your evaluation, here's the percentage breakdown. I have some description for, the points that accrue. Obviously, there will be a final project, a database presentation. More on that will come later in class. The quizzes I mentioned, the in and out of class exercises. For your participation, basically, if you're here on time, 4 points. If you are just here, period, even if you're late, 4 points. And if you are here and constructively participating, you get 2 points. So 10 per class session. And then you do the math. You'll see how many total aggregate points you'll accrue just from being punctual and present. So when we're looking at this, today we're doing introductions. Here's your syllabus overview. Laura Mulligan from Bracken Library is going to visit, and if she hasn't already done her presentation, she will. For next class, when I will be in the classroom with you, you need to have done these things in this box. So in the online required reading, there are a couple things there that I want you to either read or view, the AP Style 5-minute review. Here's the link here if you don't get it through Blackboard. And then I also want you to dig into the AP Style book a bit. When we come to class on Thursday, I have a pretest just to see where all of you are coming from in terms of your knowledge on information gathering, and then we'll go into AP style.